Greetings and welcome to episode 30 of the Transform podcast. Excuse me. It is Wednesday, January 26th, 2022. I'm your host, Christopher Anastasio, and today we're going to talk about Instagram Reels. If you guys have followed the podcast since the beginning, you guys have seen that we occasionally use entire episodes to focus on one particular platform and one particular format or aspect or delivery method or whatever you want to call it for that platform. So actually last episode 29 went over some stuff regarding Twitter with you guys. So today, and this was a little bit happenstance for me, I came across an article on later.com, that's later.com, that actually was one of the better summaries I've seen. Just real clear, real simple, real straightforward on how to create Instagram Reels, sort of in a step-by-step guide kind of format. And so actually, to be totally frank with you guys, I'm just going to kind of walk you through what's in the article, and I'll add some commentary and my own thoughts as we go along. But you can always visit that site. We'll get the link up somewhere for you, whether it's on our social media page or somewhere down in the podcast here. So you guys can go there and actually take a look yourself. There's actually a video in there embedded in the article that you can take a look at from YouTube that links you over to YouTube. But just before we go through the guide, at a high level, you say, okay, so why a whole episode about Instagram Reels? Well, if you have been following along or you're just kind of plugged into the social media space, you know that short form video content is all the rage right now. It's the reason why TikTok surged to essentially the top of the social media platform heap. It's just dominating in every which way possible right now, and it's really kind of emphasizing and underscoring the importance of somewhere in your digital delivery strategy adding in short form video content, or snack-sized content, quote unquote, that grabs attention quickly, isn't overly produced, is very, sort of personality driven. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it also adds value and gets a message across. So that's kind of very, very macro on why you want to consider short form video content if you're not already doing so. If you are doing it, you're definitely at least on pace or ahead of the curve. Okay, so now Instagram Reels. So Instagram Reels, we'll go down a layer here. From that macro observation, Instagram Reels, essentially a copycat move of TikTok. Something that Instagram previously had not been doing. When you uploaded videos to Instagram, you'd post them in your newsfeed. You could put about a 60-second clip there, I believe, of your video. And then really what you were doing is posting a longer video than that on IGTV. And that was it. That was the extent of Instagram video. So even those 60-second clips were really just sort of sliced out of longer videos that were hosted over on the IGTV side of things. But now, again, with TikTok surging, particularly because of the pandemic, although I think TikTok diehards would claim that they were there before the pandemic in 2018-19, and that's when the platform was really starting to get its legs underneath it, and the pandemic really just propelled it into the top spot. So in response to that, Instagram felt like, okay, we've got to do something about that. We have to deliver the same kind of content format for our users to keep them over on our platform, or to even bring, would-be TikTok users over to Instagram, where they may find even more traction audience-wise, cachet-wise, etc. So, all that being said, if you guys are on, first of all, if you're not on Instagram, you got to take a look at that and really think hard about that. That's probably not a good thing, but, again, I don't want to be prescriptive. I mean, anything you guys are doing or not doing is going to be unique to your business. So, if you're not on Instagram, you have to probably have a really, really good reason as to why you're not there. But if you are, then you've certainly noticed Reels. Maybe you haven't been making them, but you've certainly noticed them. And so now I think it's time to start being serious about contributing content-wise to Reels and making your own videos if you're not already doing so. All right, so, and just in an Instagram context, Instagram is favoring Reels. So if you're on Instagram and you're posting in the newsfeed and you're posting stories and you're doing everything but Reels, you're really missing out on the most reach that you could possibly get. I mean, honestly, if I prioritized how you're posting on Instagram, I would say number 1, Reels, number 2, Stories, number 3, newsfeed posts. I mean, and that's honestly probably upside down from what a lot of people are doing. They're going the other way with it, posting to the feed and then occasionally making a story and totally ignoring Reels. So we know that Instagram is favoring Reels and it's giving it the most organic juice, so we've got to flow with that. We've got to day trade that, as Gary Vee would say. So let's take a look at this tutorial. I'm on the website right now, later.com. Actually quite a lengthy URL here that we will post somewhere for you guys. But basically, the article just starts off saying, hey, here's how we're going to do this Instagram Reel in 4 major steps. Okay, so, and I like the way they lay this out. Number 1, you're going to storyboard your concept. Number 2, you're going to shoot the reel, shoot the video. Number 3, you're going to preview and add effects to it. And number 4, you're going to share it. Okay, so that's kind of the simple 4-step process that they have here. Okay, so now let's talk about storyboarding the concept. So before you get in front of the camera, it's a good idea to at least put some thought into what you're going to create, right? So so they actually have some good questions here you can kind of lead yourself through before, as you go through this storyboarding. Okay, so number 1, what topic makes the most sense for your business or brand? What area are you in? Is it fashion? Is it food? Is it wellness? Is it money, finance, real estate, whatever? So look at the topic. Look for Instagram Reel trends that might be a fit. So what you can do is you can kind of go into your space, search Reels, and see what trends are going on in that space and see if there's something that fits your business. Okay, now, if you say, what's an Instagram Reel trend? Well, it's not really the topic of this conversation, guys, but you can certainly drill down and do some research on that. In fact, there's a link out off of later.com's guide that I'm walking you through right now that you can actually follow, and you can look and see what what they mean by that and what's behind the whole trend term there. Okay, so then you take a look and you say, okay, so I obviously know the space I'm in and I see the trends going on in that area. How do I make my Reels content sort of consistent with or cohesive with my Instagram feed posts and stories? So in other words, you don't want to be doing something in Reels that's just totally out in left field somewhere and has nothing to do with any of the other content you have. If you can kind of build on itself, or if you can kind of derive one piece of content from another and make sort of a consistent thread there, that's a really good approach. Okay, so I like that suggestion here that Later makes. And then you go down to your target audience. So you say, okay, well, who am I trying to speak to with this content? Is it a tutorial? I'm going to walk people through something step by step and maybe put some text on the screen. Am I going behind the scenes and doing something kind of funny and something revelatory about my business? Maybe a day in the life and showing my routine as I go about running that business. So when you answer those 4 questions, now you kind of have a nice little storyboard that you can follow along with, and then you can start adding to it and saying like, okay, well, what else can I sort of add to flavor this a little bit? What visuals, what aesthetics, what graphics, what kind of text and fonts do I want to put into it? So you can kind of put that window dressing to the actual sort of story thread that you come up with from those 4 questions that I just went through. Okay, so this gives you a sense of your direction, and the total story that you want to tell. And now you at least have something to go off of when you go to shoot your video. Okay, now, you might say before I get to that point, wait, Chris, I thought you said that people don't want to see overly produced content in this short form format. Well, let me just say, when I talk about storyboarding, I don't mean spend 3 days doing what I just described. I would say maybe spend about, 10 minutes, 15 minutes answering those questions, fairly quickly, and then throwing in some of those other effects and visuals and creatives that I mentioned as well. So again, this is a short kind of planning process. This is not, taking days on end to figure out what your reel is going to contain. Okay, so just want to clarify that for you guys. All right, so when you get to shooting your Instagram reel, it's kind of, just a step-by-step process. So you're in your Instagram account, you go to the Reels section, you tap before you even get there, you tap the plus sign in the upper right and you select Reels, okay? And just keep in mind, guys, with Reels, you can record a series of clips, you can do a single stream, you have a lot of options on how you can actually do the shooting, okay? You can even add external clips from your camera roll to Reels. So once you've picked Reels from the plus sign and now you're inside of it, you can go ahead and actually go down to the icon all the way in the bottom left that shows a tiny little thumbnail photo with a plus sign. You can go ahead and click that, and that will bring up footage from your camera roll. You can shoot internally in the Reels app by holding the recording circle that's down there in the middle bar, sort of, bottom part of your screen, but in that little, set of icons that scroll across, you'll see that circle right in the middle with the Instagram Reel icon, and you hold that down and you can record footage that way, okay? You can add music to the footage by just going over to, on that left side, you have a few options there. You have a music icon, like a little timer, the 1x, sort of like 1 times icon, and then the stopwatch. Okay, so that's what you're going to see on that left side in that left column. So if you click that little music icon, now you can add music from the Instagram library, or you can actually use your own audio and record a reel with that audio. So you have that option as well. But a lot of people like to choose from the library. You can pick recognizable music from there that kind of accentuates the content in your Instagram reel. Okay, and then what you actually do at that point is you can pick the part of the song that you want to focus on. So you're going to see a little bar at the bottom as you're listening to the music, and you can kind of slide that around and choose the part that you want to put into your video. Okay. Now on the left sidebar, you have that option, like I said before, where you can pick the speed of the video, that 1x button. You can actually go down to like a third time, a half time, 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times. So if you want to, show like a really fast video, let's say you're moving quickly through your business, maybe you go to like the 3 or 4x. If you want to slow-mo things down, you can go the other way into the 0.3 or 0.5x option as well. Okay, so now when you click that button, you're going to see, when you click the 1x icon, it's going to bring up the 6 choices. Okay, so you're going to see those 6, 0.3, 1, 3, 0.52, and 4 kind of arranged in sort of a little grid there on the left, and you can select which one you need. You can also go ahead and click the timer for hands-free filming. So this allows you to basically get like a 3, 2, 1 countdown going, so you know when the thing is going to start recording, but now you can get away from the phone, away from your mobile device, and record hands-free. So that's a good option, I think, when you really need to kind of be, doing more than just, let's say, talking into or looking at the camera. You definitely are going to end up using that hands-free option, I think, at some point or another. Okay. You can also go ahead and align your clips. There's a tool that allows you to create seamless transitions between moments in your footage. You guys have all seen these, whether you've been watching TikTok or Reels or whatever. You can stitch together pieces of footage using this particular option in Instagram Reels. Now, if you go down to the bottom, but right above where that record circle, that major-sized record button in the middle, right above that, there's a 3-star icon that you can browse the effects gallery. Okay, so you have lots of different special effects and filtering and so forth that you can choose from there. And then, from an editing perspective, you can trim, you can delete footage, you can move back and forth and tap on a particular part of your clip to edit it. So once you've got the video kind of going there, you can do a lot of different versatile things with it by searching around back and forth through the video. Okay, so now, here's a tip that Later put on here. This is really interesting, guys. So it says, I'm just going to read it to you. Instagram's algorithm deprioritizes content that is visibly recycled from other apps such as TikTok, as well as low-quality video content. So it's best practice to create content in Instagram. So this is really kind of interesting. I mean, you definitely you definitely have to be aware that if you're just trying to repurpose things, you're going to lose something in the translation. Okay, so again, there's arguments for and against. We actually talk a lot about repurposing here on the podcast. There are a lot of advantages and benefits to repurposing, but understand, guys, that being contextual to your platform is always a best practice if you can do it. If you simply don't have the time to do that and you need to bring a TikTok video over to Instagram Reels, obviously it's not going to be the end of the world in the sense that at least you get the content populated and you have something there, but just understand you're going to lose a little juice in the algorithm. Okay? So now, once you've got the video done, I mean, we talked about all the little trimming and editing that you can do there, the music, the timing, etc. Now you move into step 3 where you're previewing and adding effects to your Instagram Reel. Okay, so now if you look down, again, it's going to be down in the bottom right next to the recording circle. There'll be a button there that says Preview. You can go in there and take a look. and see what the video looks like at that point. But the tools, actually, if you're familiar with Instagram Stories, you're going to see a lot of tools there that are very familiar to you. You know, you can add text to the reel. You can draw on the reel. You can add stickers such as captions, GIFs, the time, you know, all kinds of little fun things like that that you can sort of layer on top of the video. You can even do AR effects. Okay, so there's a gallery of augmented reality effects out there you can select from. Filters, as I mentioned before, and audio. Okay, like I said, you can do music from the music library. You can do your own audio recording, things of that nature as well. Voiceovers are also a lot of fun. I think people are having a lot of fun with that right now on TikTok, so you can definitely do that in Instagram as well. So another tip later has here, I'll read it off to you guys. Explore trending audio on Instagram by heading to the Reels tab. Take a scroll and note any tracks that have the trending arrow for your next clip. So again, it's just kind of building on what's working out there kind of a thing, okay? All right, so once you get the editing down, you've added all kinds of little effects and stickers and audio and text and so forth. Now you go into step 4, which is sharing your reel, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click next to move along through the process. You're gonna pick a cover photo, okay? That's the image that'll kind of sit there that represents the reel, and then you can put a caption along with it, okay? Now we have a whole episode, guys. I think you gotta go a little ways back. But we have an episode on Instagram captions and the importance of using that space in Instagram to say certain things that bring value to your user or to your audience, but also sort of keep them on the page for a little while. So it's got to be a little bit compelling, and it's got to kind of offer them something, make them want to read the whole thing. Make sure you get your keywords in there and key phrases that you know kind of lead back to your brand or to your product or service. Okay, so don't take the caption lightly. Okay, that's kind of what my point is there. And then, you know, and I think this is fairly obvious. I think most people would have done this anyway, but later points out that you should share to your feed for the best reach. So you want to sort of include your reel in your news feed. It's not like you're just leaving it over on the Reels tab for somebody to come find it. They would definitely see it in your news feed if you go ahead and toggle that button to share it there. Okay. You can also crop your profile image and get that cleaned up. Tag other Instagram accounts with the tag people function. So that's always nice. We can kind of include others who are likely to help share or promote your content. You can rename your audio. You can also have it recommended over on Facebook. So of course the relationship between Instagram and Facebook allows you to sort of double your reach in a sense, you know, not literally speaking, but you can kind of, you know, hit two birds with one stone by choosing that option. Now, when you've worked your way down through all those options, then you go ahead and click the blue share button at the bottom, and you've got your reel posted, okay? So, you know, I think, you know, one of the things I'm not going to go into, we've already gotten to the 20-minute mark here almost, but when you read this later article, if you decide to come over and check this out, they do have some tips on how to create reels that really stand out. I mean, obviously the 4 things we just went through are the basics, but they've got things on, you know, hooking your audience, providing value, hopping on trends. I mean, these are kind of common sense things in a way, but you know, we tend to forget them when we get caught up in content creation. We're just really trying to get the content created, get it out the door. So it's something to really think about. You know, how do I grab the audience's attention? Is there imagery or a saying or text that can come on the screen that can kind of hold the person in that first second or two and get them to watch the rest of the reel? Okay, now once you've kind of hooked them, then by extension, provide them value. You know, make the person feel like they weren't necessarily just entertained. I mean, you obviously want to do that if possible, but you want to provide value at the same time. Make that person feel like, hey, I learned something from this account. I now know something I didn't know from before I watched this reel. I'm going to come back and check here more often. Okay, and the hopping on trends, I mean, I definitely think this is something that you almost have to be reflexive about that these days and look for things like the new hot dance that's going on, or some audio that everybody's using, or a challenge. You know, what's the viral challenge that's going on? I mean, don't shoehorn these things if they don't make sense, but you've got to look and see, is there some way to hop on and kind of ride that wave and get as much reach and organic kind of juice out of that as you possibly can. Okay, guys, so that's kind of a crash course in Reels. Again, you know, didn't even really expect to cover this today. You know, had some other topics in mind for you guys, but I saw this article and I'm like, okay, you know, we've really been hammering away at some of the other short form content like TikTok. So let's talk about Instagram Reels. We do have, if you go back through our past episodes, entire episodes dedicated to, like I said, IG Captions and IG Stories. So you can kind of look at those two episodes or listen to those two episodes along with this one, and I think you'll get a good sense of, okay, if I'm kind of a beginner on Instagram or I'm kind of new to some of these strategies, here's where I should begin. Okay? All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Super appreciate you guys checking in. Definitely didn't mention this at the beginning, but apologize that we weren't able to publish yesterday. We usually, like I said, aim for Tuesday and Thursday every week, but definitely get you guys 2 episodes a week. So we will be back more than likely tomorrow, but definitely by Friday with episode 31. Okay, guys, thanks again. This is Christopher Anastasio, Transform, signing off. Hope you guys have a great day, great rest of the week. We will see you again later this week. Check us out, Facebook, LinkedIn, Transform, and also go ahead and check us out on our website, transform.com, and like, share, subscribe the podcast. All right, guys, thank you so much. Hope you have a great night, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.